Brandy is a candidate for the McLean County Board in District 9. And she is the recruitment chair for the Young Democrats in McLean County. Oh, there you are. There she is, Brandy.
Is this better?
Yes!
So I don't know how many other people had the same experience I did this morning. I woke up with the dread that I remember feeling about 6 years ago.
Yes!
And that dread is scary. But scarier now because this was the reason why we had that dread 6 years ago.
That's right.
So we're looking at going back on 50 years of progress that we've made. I have known nothing else other than being protected and being allowed to make choices for my own body. When I was 18, my then husband and I accidentally got pregnant, and I didn't have to make that choice because it ended in a miscarriage. But I don't know if I would even be brave enough to stand up here and tell you if I had made that choice. But I had that choice.
Yeah.
And that choice is not a casual choice that anybody makes.
No.
Usually when we have laws that stretch beyond what we think are reasonable, it's usually for the interest of the whole, such as child abuse or neglect or self-harm. But this isn't one of those choices. This is an issue that affects both men and women. It affects every child that is born. And we need to recognize that women have the ability to make that decision for themselves, to know what is best for their child, if they are financially ready, emotionally ready, mentally ready, if they have the family support to raise a child the way they deserve. I am only here because I have that support. But if I had to make that decision when I was 18 years old, my life would probably be in a very different spot now. And I don't know what I would have chosen, but again, it would have been my choice.
Yep.
And when we talk about abortion, they say it's because it'll reduce the amount of abortions. We know that's not true. It'll reduce the amount of safe abortions. And if we really want to look at the research, this won't reduce abortions. But what will? Support for working mothers, support for single mothers, health care, basic health care needs, access to contraception. These are the things we should be voting on and spending our energy and time fighting for, not whether we have the right to choose what happens to our body. What man has that option in his health care? So, obviously, I'm trying to convey my anger at this situation. And I know you're all here today because you're angry as well.
Yes.
So what can we do with that anger?
Vote!
Vote. Stand out here with each other. Bring your family members, bring your friends, get involved. Get involved in local campaigns, sign petitions, donate money. Run for office if you have the capacity to. Because at the end of the day, that is why we're standing here today, because we voted, we weren't able to have the representation to vote for who selected our current judges. So even though midterm season voter outcome is lower, we have to change that because now we see how important that is.
Yeah.
And then one last plug. I have chosen to run for office, and I promise I will always vote in favor of protecting women's rights and women's health care. So please go out and vote.
Thank you, Brandy. Thank you. Next up, we have the Honorable Kimberly Cummings. Of a woman's right to choose, and she is my I Will sister. And if you don't know, I Will stands for Illinois Women's Institute for Leadership. So Kimberly, I'm so happy you're here.
I'm so glad to be here today. As I got the news and as my I Will sister called and we talked about it a little bit, I had to think about what was my going to respond to, what was it that I wanted to share with you. And most importantly, what I wanted to share with you was a couple personal stories really fast. I'm a storyteller. For me, this is personal. As a woman of color, as a woman who grew up from a low-income family, I myself might have had to make those decisions once upon a time. I had friends who had to. I also grew up with stories knowing of women who did make those decisions. And some of them didn't have the right, and they had to do the backdoor way. There's a particular story that stays on my mind to this day. There's a woman who never had children, who had a backdoor abortion, and it left her infertile. This is what we would have to deal with. And guess what? It would still be on us. So don't let them get you into saying it's on you for having an abortion. It's on you too when a woman is now lifelong infertile. This is personal for me. I suffer with polycystic ovarian syndrome and fibroids. Any woman who knows that, we run the risk every time we try to bear children. And you know what? A doctor told me that many hospitals in this country, because they are anti-abortion, will not remove your child if it is a medical emergency, even for you. And do you know what this does today? It allows more hospitals to go along with that same mindset. Men, think about your wife, and you have no choice or no say in saving her life. And they have to allow her and the unborn child to die.
Yeah.
That is the reality. That's my reality. And that's what scares me about this. I think about all the young women that I left behind in Cleveland, Ohio, who have to make these choices and these decisions. And it goes beyond the fact that they had to make that choice, because we already failed them when it came to education. We failed them when it came to health care and them being able to have birth control. We failed them long before. We failed them economically, so they can't even afford to raise their children. They can't even afford to put them in daycare. We make it unaffordable to give them pre-education, but we've got to do something with them. You have to choose between a job or putting them in daycare, and neither one of them is affordable for you. And this is the reality of what is. So what have we left them with? What are we going to do? You're right, it's not going to stop abortions. But what we're going to see is more women dying on tables, kitchen counters, floors and alleys is what we'll see more of. And we've got to fight against that at all costs. All of us, no matter our age, our race, our gender, or our socioeconomic status. This is on all of us.
Thank you, Kimberly. And next up,